have since directed all security agencies to immediately ensure that every effort is directed to ensure the safety of our schools and students.
President Muhammadu Buhari receives released University of Maiduguri lecturers, restates commitment of the federal government to ensuring the rescue of all persons abducted by insurgents.
We must, as a matter of necessity, also put greater efforts into the inclusion and integration of local communities and civil society groups.
Hope rises for improved socio-economic life of over 60 million people as Vice President opens meeting of experts to salvage the shrinking lake charge.
Forever, solidarity forever.
Nigeria Labour Congress kickstarts 40th anniversary celebrations. And towards 2019, INEC begins consultation with critical stakeholders for efficient electoral process. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Carlo Otisi. It's nice to be back on set after many years of retirement from active television presentation. It's all about NTA at 40, and I will be on the news for the rest of the week. Tonight, Seun Olagunju takes the news while I'll take over tomorrow. How has it been, Seun?
Well, Carlo, it's been fine. We've been keeping faith and building on the legacies veterans like you left behind. Good to see you again. But tonight, Elizabeth is joining me from Lagos. Mohammed is in Maiduguri, while Fatai is in Ibadan. Thank you very much for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari has reaffirmed the unshakable resolve of the federal government towards ensuring that all persons abducted by various groups of insurgents are rescued or released safely and reintegrated into the society. Receiving the 3 lecturers of the University of Maiduguri as well as the women who regained freedom recently, the president also promised to ensure that no stone is left unturned towards degrading and containing the criminal elements for the return of complete peace to the land. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The 3 University of Maiduguri lecturers, Dr. Solomon Yusuf, Yusuf Ibrahim, and Dashe Haruna, were abducted on the 25th of July last year by ISIS West Africa while returning from NNPC exploration site in the Lake Chad Basin. The 10 women, on the other hand, were kidnapped by Boko Haram about 1 month earlier on their way to Askira Wuba in Borno State for a burial ceremony.
We were rescued on the 10th of February this year. It was a very huge relief to me personally, as well as to all Nigerians.
President Muhammadu Buhari told the people that the path to their freedom was painstaking and protracted, as the groups responsible for the criminal acts were not only different but located far apart that, if not properly handled, could result in their consequences.
While thanking the security agencies and all those who facilitated this, let me clearly reiterate the resolve of this administration to ensure all persons abducted by the insurgents are rescued or released safely. I have since directed all security agencies to immediately ensure that every effort is directed to ensure the safety of our schools and students, as well as bringing back the abducted girls to their families.
Describing the February 19 abduction of Dapchi school girls in Yobe State as a sad incident, President Buhari was emphatic that his administration treasures every human life, particularly that of Nigerian citizens.
I remain very mindful of the pains and injury collectively meted out by the insurgents, and will ensure that the government do not leave any stone unturned to degrade and contain these insurgents and ensure that complete peace returns to our land. Government would also work closely with all stakeholders, such as the United Nations and other donor agencies, voluntary organizations, towards rehabilitating and resettling all those displaced as a result of this conflict to quicken a resumption of meaningful socio-economic activities.
The Director General, Department of State Services, Lawal Daura, had told the President that negotiations for the rescued victims centered mainly on the fate of arrested members of the insurgent groups, possible cessation of hostilities, especially the attacks with IEDs on soft targets, as well as the possibility of granting amnesty to those willing to surrender. He speaks on the way forward.
Permit me, Mr. President, to suggest for more synergy and coordination among all security agencies with a view to avoiding future incidents. But more importantly, to reduce delay in response to such incidents and facilitate rescue of victims in record time.
Dr. Solomon Yusuf, who responded on behalf of those rescued, appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for all the efforts made towards ensuring that they regained freedom.
Sir, you surprised us. After 7 months for us from the university and 8 months for the 10 ladies from Lassa, Nigeria rescued us. This shows that the life of every Nigerian is important. You gave us hope when there was no hope. Sir, we are grateful.
All those released were medically examined and psychologically evaluated, are now in good health condition and ready for release to their family members. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Mohammed in Maiduguri also has stories on security, and we will be joining him now. Hello, Mohammed. It's over to you.
Thank you and welcome to Maiduguri. The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari and security agencies in the country have been commended for their efforts that led to the release of the women abducted by Boko Haram June last year while in a funeral procession and the 3 University of Maiduguri lecturers. The commendation was made by elders of Margi community in Borno State, who expressed the hope and confidence that with the support of all Nigerians, the recently abducted Dapchi girls will also be released safely. Jesse Tavida has more.
In June last year, 10 women were abducted by Boko Haram in an ambush along Zamboa Maiduguri Road while conveying calls of women police. Expressed delight for the respect and value for human life shown by them. He said the elders were happy with the prompt response to their plea by issuance of an executive order backed by the National Assembly, which has resulted in the release of the women. Barrister Isa Moduchul also extended their gratitude to the International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC for facilitating the release.
We're extremely delighted, and we thank Mr. President, the Governor of Borno State too, and all the security agencies that participated in the release of these girls.
I want to thank God first, and thank the federal government for the release of this women. In fact, I am happy and I cannot forget what has happened.
The elders used the opportunity to call on all citizens of the state and country to continue to pray for a lasting peace. In Maiduguri, I am Jesse Tafida, NTA News.
About 316 rescued victims of insurgency have been handed over to their respective local government chairmen after undergoing training on economic empowerment initiatives, psychosocial support and counseling. Abubakar Mohamed Musa reports.
The 316 victims of insurgency were rescued by the Nigerian military from the captivity of Boko Haram insurgents during liberation of local governments and communities in Borno State by troops in the front line. 246 of the victims are from Borno, while 46 are from other states across Nigeria and 24 of them from foreign countries. While handing over the victims of insurgency from Borno to their respective local government chairmen, Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Fanta Baba Shehu, who represented Governor Kashim Shettima, said the people have received adequate training on psychosocial support and counseling as well as economic empowerment initiatives for better reintegration into the society and directed the Ministry for Local Government and Emirate Affairs to provide them with take-off grant as they go back to their communities. Those from other places within and outside the country will also be conveyed to their various homes. United Nations Children's Fund and ICRC also presented relief materials to the 316 persons. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
And that's the size of our contribution. Is back to Shehu in Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed, and we do apologize for the audio problems from Maiduguri Center. And we stay with security reports. Now, the federal government delegation on the Dapchi school students' abduction say they are designing a strategy that will see to the safe rescue of the abducted students, as well as fortify security of schools in the state. This was part of the agreements reached when the federal government delegation visited the state for the second time since the incident occurred. Anthony Forsen reports.
This aerial shot of Dapchi town in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, is some 75 kilometers south of the border with Niger. The town's serene ambience was tampered with when the government science and technical college was attacked, and 110 out of the 906 students are yet to be accounted for. Since the incident occurred, a federal government delegation has visited the state. The visits are geared towards ensuring that the girls are rescued safely and returned to their parents. Leading the federal government delegation is the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, accompanied by the Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazo.
The police and the civil defense corps will ensure that their presence are strong in every school. And secondly, the security agencies and the outfits are working together and they are synergizing to ensure that these girls are recovered as fast as possible. We want to assure Nigeria that no stone will be left unturned in our determination to rescue these girls.
The minister said the federal government has directed that security be beefed up in the state. Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
And today is exactly 1 week after the attack at the Government Girls Science and Technical College, Dapchi, where 110 students have been established missing. Hussaini Mohammed Isa was in Dapchi town to monitor the situation 1 week after the attack.
These are some of the parents of the missing school children of Government Girls Science and Technical College, Dapchi, who could not control their tears whenever they remember their children whose whereabouts remain unknown. It has now been officially confirmed that 110 students of the school are still unaccounted for, a development that pushed their parents into shock and devastation, a trauma they found difficult to live with. Some of the parents who spoke to NTA News described the situation as a great source of concern, considering the atrocities the insurgents committed in the past on school children. They appealed to government and security agencies to intensify effort to rescue the students healthy and alive before it is too late. Falmata Bukar and Fatima Zanna, who are escapees of the attack, narrated how they jumped the school fence and ran for their dear lives.
Sun sauka a mota su guda biyu, ɗayan mai rufaffen kai, ɗayan kuma haka ne kamar kafasta.
Sai muka fita da gudu muka yi waje, da muka yi waje sai suka ce mana mu shigo za su taimake mu, mu kuma muka ki shiga, wasu mu suka shiga aka tafi da.
This is the main entrance to the staff quarters, and it is the gate used by the insurgents to force themselves inside the school premises, and it is less than a kilometer from the local government police station. On entering the school, the attackers went straight to the hostel, and according to eyewitness account, they were able to trap those who attempted to escape through the school main entrance gate. From Dapchi town, I am Hussaini Mohammed Isa, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Air Force has deployed additional air assets, including intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance ISR platforms to the northeast in a renewed effort at locating the missing Dapchi girls. Some ISR platform and helicopters are deployed to search for and possibly locate the missing girls as well as the Boko Haram terrorists. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Olatokunbo Adesoya, says the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, directed the immediate deployment of NAV personnel who will spare no efforts at possibly getting the girls back via its air operations. NAV calls on Nigerians, especially the locals, who might have any information that could lead to the location of the girls, to bring such information forward to NAV authorities or other relevant security agencies. And the Kaduna State Police Command says it has brought under control the Monday morning communal clash that occurred at Kasuwan Magani, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. In a telephone conversation with correspondent Benny Adams, the command's public relations officer, ASP Mukhtar Aliu, said security personnel have been deployed to prevent the crisis from escalating. He confirmed that investigation is underway to determine the remote and immediate causes of the crisis and to forestall any recurrence. You're watching NTA Network News. Time now to take a short break. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Stay with us.
Get an unfair advantage that puts you in front of everyone else. Be the first to have an immersive movie experience. 1,000 Naira equals 2 gigabytes. That's 30 hours of video content. With the power to broadcast yourself, the world is your stage. 2,500 Naira equals 7.2 gigabytes that lets you upload 120 hours of dance video. Get the unfair advantage, powered by Glow Data Unmatched. Also enjoy free YouTube and iFlix. Dial *777#.
The largest data network. Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigeria SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards to improve made in Nigeria products for export. We have developed more standards for products like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy of our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turned around time for SUNCAP, MANCAP, and other certification processes. SON has intensified market surveillance, raids, and seizures to reduce substandard products in circulation, and offenders shall be prosecuted. Join SON in ridding our nation of substandard products. If you see something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, has approved the appointment of chairmen and members of governing boards for Federal Housing Authority, FHA, and Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMPN. The appointments are as follows. Senator Lowell Shuaibu is chairman, Federal Housing Authority, while members are Chief Yemi Adaramodu, Atahiru Isa Esquire, Mohammed Sagir Hamida, Surveyor Kunle Busari, Alaji Agi Amituo, Alaji Abdullahi Minjibir, Engineer Omolafe Adedayo, Barrister Matthew Mwogu, Reverend Ayuk Igisa. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, and Managing Director, FHA. Also, Mr. Adewale Adeyo is Chairman, Federal Mortgage Bank, while members are Alaji Ajiko Lobama, Representative of the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, Representative of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Managing Director and Executive Directors 1, 2, and 3 of Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN, will inaugurate the board on Thursday, 1st March 2018 at 10 a.m. in the Ministry's headquarters, Abuja. Muhammad Bukar, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Nigeria's Continuity and Progressives for Buhari Osibanjo 2019 invites all Nigerians to a national rally for Buhari Osibanjo Continuity 2019 at the Eagle Square, Abuja on 28 February 2018 by 10 a.m. We support continuity for these great achievements. 14 local governments freed from Boko Haram control, Nigerian military better equipped, continued peace in the Niger Delta, release of 100 Chibok girls and 16,000 persons under Boko Haram control, entrenching accountability and transparency in governance, taking Nigeria out of the worst recession in 3 decades, elimination of 30,000 ghost workers through reforming the civil service, massive investment in agriculture and fertilizer distribution, improving rail and roads infrastructure, the takeoff of the Niger Bridge, the federal government's new vision on the Niger Delta, creation of 30 billion naira development funds, Ogoni cleanup, Mambila power plant, improving Nigeria's international image, billions of stolen funds recovered. Buhari Osibanjo 2019, promoting the change agenda for a bright future for all. All APC governors, ministers, heads of parastatals, and stakeholders are invited. Honorable Amos Adamuyat, National Organizing Secretary, Announcer.
Ní ògo tuntun lọ, ẹlẹ́dàá mi. Ṣé ìwọ ti rókun tó gbẹ̀rí?
Get 10 times your recharge value to call and browse anyhow. Recharge with *220 star the pin hash to enjoy this offer. Available to new and existing subscribers.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Inspector General of Police invites the general public to the Northern States Stakeholder Security Summit under the distinguished chairmanship of His Eminence Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, CFR, Sultan of Sokoto. Theme: Nation Building, Security Challenges and the Need for Inclusive Approach. Date: Wednesday, February 28, 2018. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: Sheikh Musa Eradua Indoor Hall, Murtala Square, Kaduna. Special guest of honor: His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Guests of honor: all 19 Northern State governors. Guest speakers: Professor T.A. Mohammed Baba, Head, Department of Sociology, Federal University, Birnin Kebbi. Professor Elhatu Geladanchi, Department of Economics, Bayero University, Kano. Dr. Dan Moore, Executive Chairman, Center for Poverty Eradication, Development and Equal Opportunity, Abuja. Alhaji Usman Farouk, CON. Royal Fathers of the Day, all chairmen, Northern State Traditional Rulers Councils. Chief host, Malam Nasser Ahmed El-Rufai, CFR, Governor, Kaduna State. Convener, Ibrahim Idris, Inspector General of Police.
Thanks for staying with us on the Network News. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has declared open a two-day international conference on Lake Chad in Abuja, organized by the federal government of Nigeria and the Lake Chad Basin Commission with the support of UNESCO. The conference has the theme Saving Lake Chad to revitalize the basin's ecosystem for sustainable livelihood, security and development. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Over the years, conferences such as these have been held locally and internationally in and among the 8 countries located in the Lake Chad region. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, in his remark at this international conference, says it is crucial that the conferences are held to deepen local and global awareness of the existential threat posed by the drying up of water in the lake.
The Lake Chad River Basin has now shrunk, we're told, by 90% of its size, from a peak of 25,000 square kilometers to currently somewhere in the region of about 1,350 square kilometers. The implications of this are grave indeed.
The conference overall objective is to develop a comprehensive program of action to save the lake from extinction. The cooperation and collaboration that underpins the efforts it wants must not be allowed to flag, and calls for a collective action to face the challenge.
We must, as a matter of necessity, also put greater efforts into the inclusion and integration of local communities and civil society groups in the design and implementation of the interventions for the restoration of the Lake Chad Basin. Your Excellencies, let me assure you of the unflagging commitment of Nigeria.
The Lake Chad Basin is shared by Algeria, Cameroon, the Central African Republic, Chad, Libya, Niger, Nigeria, and Sudan, representing about 8% of the African continent. As the Vice President noted, saving Lake Chad means saving the environment and millions of people whose lives depend on it. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NT News.
And beyond the speeches, experts, development partners, international donors and other key players are locked in serious brainstorming sessions to fine-tune the means of restoring Lake Chad and the livelihood of the dependents. Musbao Danwahab reports on the issues at the conference.
It's a regional crisis that has lingered for ages and now getting global attention. The spiral effects of the disappearing Lake Chad, 1/6 largest at 25,000 square kilometers, are multiplying, and human, flora and fauna are bearing the brunt. Waters drying out, crops and fish farming have been constrained to leaner harvest, while security crises have compounded the threat to millions of lives dependent on the lake in the riparian countries.
Today, the Lake Chad region is the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, with 7 million displaced persons and about 2 million people depending on humanitarian assistance, and the region has the highest poverty, illiteracy, and birth rate in the world.
Inter-basin water transfer project from Congo to the lake called TransAqua has been a proposal since 1984, but the feasibility and actualization have been in contention. It's a renewed vigor. Nigeria's government and UNESCO leading the partners in the cause, as they say, Lake Chad must be reinstated to save the present and protect the future.
It is important to note that saving the Lake Chad in a sustainable manner is a task which requires the collaboration of all relevant stakeholders.
UNESCO is dedicated to support the governments of the countries bordering the Lake Chad in their fight against extremism and terrorism.
Now that the Inter-Basin Water Transfer Project has been identified as the most economically and technically viable means of salvaging the lake, participants here in the next few days will continue to deliberate on its feasibility and workability. In Abuja, Musba and Wahab, NT News.
I'm now being joined by the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, to talk more on benefits derivable from this conference. Thanks for joining us, Honorable Minister.
Thank you.
Talking about saving the Lake Chad, we're looking at the interbasin water transfer option, getting water from the Ubangi River in the Congo. How realistic is this, knowing that this has been on since the 80s?
Well, it's true that it's been going, the talks have been going on since the 80s, but some effort has been made over time. For instance, in about 10 years ago, Nigeria committed $5 million to conduct the very first study. It all started as an idea, but at least we took the first step to fund a pre-feasibility study on the possibility of that project being real. That study was conducted and was completed in 2012. Nigeria committed $5 million to that endeavor. Since then, the technical experts in Lake Chad Basin Commission have looked at it. It turned out to be a very costly venture, looking at about $15 billion. And that's just a pre-feasibility. So more work needs to be done, more studies need to be done to see how far it can go. But there's been a lot of criticism from the international community as to whether it's costly, whether it's cost effective.
Talking about commitment and feasibility, you've talked about Nigeria's commitment. What's the commitment of other Lake Chad Basin Authority members? Well,
they are committed to the project. You know, the Lake Chad Basin Commission member countries include, in addition to Nigeria, Niger, yes, Chad, Cameroon, Central Africa Republic, and Libya. And I believe there was a resolution as far back as 2012 made by those countries indicating their commitment to this interbasin water transfer. But like I said, what was just a pre-feasibility showed quite a large chunk of money, and since then the LCBC have been looking at other alternatives or finding a way to do a more detailed study to see if there are other options that are much cheaper than the option profiled by that pre-feasibility study.
Given this commitment, given this that all hands are on deck, what would be the effect of neglecting the Lake Chad? We've seen it disappearing before our eyes.
Neglecting Lake Chad and allowing it to go into extinction will be a disaster for the region. So it is not an option for us.
At all.
We still believe that the way to save the Lake Chad is to bring in water from somewhere else. And we are still committed to the interbasin transfer. But in what form and shape it will come, we're yet to know until the experts do a lot of detailed study, and this is ongoing now.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Network News. Suleiman Adamu is the Minister of Water Resources. Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has identified a legislative framework and policy direction as key ways to tackle the scourge of illegal migration and human trafficking in the country. He stated this at the Senate Roundtable on Migration and Human Trafficking holding in Benin. Steve Mwokolo reports.
Senate President Bukola Saraki, who gave statistics of Nigeria as representing the 5th largest country of migrants, across the globe pointed out that 10,000 Nigerians are reported to have lost their lives in the course of migration to other parts of the globe.
The roundtable is intended to draw attention to the situation and give confidence to our people to let them know that we are troubled by this. We are losing sleep over irregular migration and human trafficking, and we are determined as representatives of the people to do something about this.
Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazao, while suing for creation of awareness towards stemming the tide of the menace, noted that not all migrants exhibit negative tendencies. Other speakers, including the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, and the European Union Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Ketel Kassem, deplored the menace of illegal migration and canvassed for ways of tackling it. The Senate Roundtable on Migration and Human Trafficking attracted principal officers of the Senate, security operatives, and other key players, as well as heads of government parastatals, including the representative of the Director General of NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed. The roundtable ends on Tuesday. In Benin, Steve Lonine, Waukolo, NTA News.
The Federal Executive Council will not hold this Wednesday. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, in a statement says this is due to the participation of President Muhammadu Buhari and a significant number of ministers at the high-level meeting of the International Conference on Lake Chad Basin in Abuja for the better part of that day. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari is challenging members of the governing All Progressives Congress not to shy away from projecting the tremendous achievements of the party in the last 2.5 years. Addressing the National Caucus of the party Monday evening in Abuja, the president said with the record of unprecedented theft and systematic mismanagement inherited in 2015, the APC government is well on course in meeting national aspirations.
The territorial integrity of Nigeria is no longer under threat. A number of security challenges still exist, but they exist in even the most well-policed and well-secured countries. I am confident that the measures we are taking will tackle the acts of rural banditry, herdsmen farmers conflicts, communal clashes, kidnappings, and other crimes.
It is imperative that all of us, committed party members, must put aside all differences at this time and work to ensure victory for our party at the next elections. Disagreements and differences of opinion are normal features of democratic associations, but we must not allow these to develop to the extent that they become fatal either to the existence of our great party or to the achievement of basic objective of winning elections and forming a government that serves the best interests of our people.
Both the president and national chairman of the party called for the support and cooperation of party members to the Bola Tinubu Reconciliation Committee. Still on politics, states chairmen of the All Progressives Congress have passed a vote of confidence on President Muhammadu Buhari and the national leadership of the party. In a communique issued at the end of a two-day closed-door meeting, the forum, which also supports the Senator Bola Tinubu-led Peace and Reconciliation Committee, wants the tenure of the present officers of the party at all levels extended by 2 years. Ben Nwoye is the secretary of the APC State Chairman Forum.
All over the country, in the northwest, in the southeast, in the south-south, in the south-central, everywhere, there is some element of infrastructural development going on. These things are unheard of. Then you look at the increase in our foreign reserve, but from 20-something to now 48. So these things are monumental change that has come to play. And so we need more time. His vision is one that we think that we should continue, because change comes with price, and change takes time. But we are seeing gradually what this man leadership has done. And that is why we, the state chairman, are asking him to come back and run again. Consider all those things.
The APC States Chairman Forum equally sympathizes with the people of Benue, Adamawa, Taraba, Zamfara, Yobe and Borno states over the incessant attacks resulting in the loss of innocent lives and property. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is assuring Nigerians that only credible voters register with eligible voters will be used in the conduct of the 2019 general elections. INEC's chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, stated this at the 2018 first quarterly consultative meeting with the media and civil society organizations. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports.
The INEC quarterly consultative meeting is a platform for both the Commission and the stakeholders to exchange ideas and partner towards deepening electoral process in the country. While engaging the media, the INEC chairman answered questions related to voters' registration, election timetable, and the Commission's state of preparedness to 2019. He particularly reiterated that INEC has not and will never use ineligible voters in any of its election, adding that the Kano incident is being investigated.
So we are also interested in knowing what really happened in the last local government election, for which, as I said, we have already set up a committee to investigate. So let's be patient, await the outcome of the investigation, and see where we go from there. But take it from the Commission that only credible voter register will be used for the 2019 general elections. Whatever we need to do to clean up the voter register, the Commission is committed to doing so.
The Commission assured all eligible voters that they will get the permanent voter cards before the general election. Earlier, similar parley was held with 25 civil society organizations discussing issues related to equity and Osun governorship and the 2019 general elections. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
We will be going over to our Lagos studios now for more reports with Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth.
It's nice to see you, Sean, and a warm welcome to Lagos. In a bid to widen the nation's tax net, the federal government introduced the Voluntary Asset Income Declaration Scheme (VADS) as remedy towards addressing the low tax to GDP ratio, which currently stands at 6%. How well informed are the people about the scheme? Abolade Salami in this report spoke with a cross-section of Lagosians to find out.
The Voluntary Asset Income Declaration Scheme, VADS, introduced July 1st of 2017 for a period of 9 months, is an initiative designed to encourage voluntary disclosure of previously undisclosed assets and income for the purpose of payments of all outstanding tax liabilities. With barely 1 month to the expiration of the scheme, Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Babatunde Fala, says the scheme has so far generated 20 billion naira out of the 350 billion naira target. So far, how will Nigerians describe the scheme?
I think for the first time, I'm hearing about it for the first time that government are coming into it, you know, just to improve us in paying our tax, because we don't do it normally like we do it other countries, okay?
A lot more Nigerians are taking tax seriously.
VAD, I don't really have idea on VAD now, but except you highlight it to me.
Yeah. Something voluntary. Yes. From which area? Is it from government or from the individual? Well, I don't know.
Should the time be extended further in order to accommodate more declaration?
A lot of people are calling for extension, but we still have so much time between now and March, and there is nothing so difficult to do, okay, for you to make declaration. And so much effort has been put in place by the federal government to ensure this awareness gets. You want to ask for government to give.
We apologize for the loss of visuals from our legal center. Continuing from here now, we'll take a commercial break.
Get an unfair advantage that puts you in front of everyone else. Be the first to create the latest online trends. Be the first to make the news. 4,000 Naira equals 12.5 gigabytes to upload over 5,000 pictures. Sell to more people faster than anyone else. 500 Naira equals 1 gigabyte for unlimited chatting. Be the first to know. Live on the fast lane and always stay connected to a world on the move. 5,000 naira equals 15.6 gigabytes for 50 hours of unlimited video calling. Get the unfair advantage powered by Glow Data Unmatched. Also enjoy free YouTube and iFlix. Dial *777#.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Every day, I try to create something new, but I always remember my roots. Modern grooves meet traditional beats. That's how my music speaks. That's why I love my Lux, traditional fragrance with a modern twist of floral beauty oil for soft, fragrant skin. My roots, my modernity. It's all a part of me.
I am Nandi Matita. I am more than you can see, just like Lux.
Breaking news. MTN gives 2,000% bonus for reactivating your MTN SIM.
That's right. If you haven't used your MTN SIM for 45 days or more, recharge now and get 2,000% bonus. That's right, 2,000% bonus for your first recharge of every month.
The Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, hereby reminds all candidates for the 2018-2019 Bilateral Education Agreement, BEA, scholarship to present themselves for documentation and interview from 9 a.m. Tuesday, February 27th to Thursday, March 1st, 2018 in the provided centers across the 6 geopolitical zones as shown on the screen. Southeast, JAMB Office, Ubakala Junction, Enugu Expressway, Umuahia. South, JAMB Office, NTA Junction, Asaba. North Central, JAMB Office, Maitumbi Road, Mina. Southwest, JAMB Zonal Office, Agodi GRA, Ibadan. Northeast, JAMB Office, Jalingo. Northwest, JAMB CBT Center, Farawa, Kano. Only cleared candidates will be admitted for the interview. For more information, please see Punch, Daily Sun, and Daily Trust of Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. Announcer, Architect Sonny Echono, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education.
Uncle, now see people boss be this, so.
Everybody, take comics for an call. Yes, now, just here, drink.
Comics, now easy to use solution for itchy cough. Comics, easy to use. Carry work.
Cold and flu can spread through the contact of hands. And in such situations, I can't risk falling ill. So I recommend Dettol, as it protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why I want to be Dettol sure. Dettol, be 100.
The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo! The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo! The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo!
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thanks for staying with us on the Network News. To labour matters now, transforming from a mere labour movement promoting workers' interests to a political platform propelling workers' participation in national politics dominated discussion at the NLC at 40 lecture in Abuja. Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
Solidarity forever. It is an established fact that the Nigerian Labour Congress has been an active and formidable player in the struggle for a better society in the last 40 years. While taking stock of the journey so far, successes as well as challenges and failures recorded are being reviewed to make it stronger. The issue that became clear was the fact that strike action alone no longer attracts government's attention. Thus, the advocacy for workers' active participation in politics.
We must continue to perfect the skill of negotiation, of persuasion, but it will not bring about fundamental changes. You will need to acquire political power.
Workers need a political platform. Labor leaders must create them with integrity, operate them on democratic principles and core values of inclusiveness.
We will continue to ensure that the voice of the workers are heard. As workers that create the wealth, they must also be partakers of the wealth they created.
The first in series of such lectures to mark the NLC at 40 attracted international labor body, which urged unity instead of factionalization, which weakens the movement.
To see this opportunity to plead that you recommence once again the peace processes you put in place before so that it can work.
The future of the world of work, NLC yesterday, today and tomorrow, and social justice are other topics to be considered. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
To business news, Nigeria's equities market extent gain begins the week on a positive note. Details with Vivian Idepefo.
Hello and welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has launched the Corporate Governance Index to track the performance of pre-qualified companies using their market capitalization, free float, and corporate governance rating scores. The CG Index, which will be reviewed on a biannual basis, will increase transparency in the capital markets and provide investors additional data points to make well-informed investment decisions. Meanwhile, the bourse began the week on a positive note. The all-share index appreciated by 0.02% to close at 42,579.48 basis points. Investors traded 384 million shares worth more than 5 billion naira in 4,000 deals. Market capitalization closed at 15 trillion naira. The oil and gas industry dominated the losers chart. CCNN, Transcorp, and First Bank Holdings emerged the most preferred stocks. And moving on now, the Consumer Protection Council and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, have agreed to work together to curb the menace of counterfeit and adulterated food and drugs in the country. The chief executive officers of the agencies at a meeting in Abuja identified substandard goods as a major threat to the health and wealth of the nation, saying the revenue loss is unpardonable. And that's our bit on business news at this time. Thanks for being there.
The presidency says at no point has it been recommended for the onshore-offshore dichotomy to be reintroduced or enforced, and that there is no plan of doing so at the moment. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Ita Enang, says attention has been drawn to the campaign against the President, the APC, and the Committee on the Proposal for Restructuring of Nigeria, alleging that the committee is reintroducing the onshore-offshore dichotomy intended to deprive some states of derivation content of revenue allocation.
aforehand that neither President Muhammadu Buhari, the All Progressive Congress as a party, nor the report on restructuring has reintroduced covertly or overtly or in any manner whatsoever the abrogated onshore-offshore dichotomy, and that the statutory allocation to Akwa Ibom and other littoral states will not decrease.
Enang says the committee recommended an upwards review of the current derivation formula in favor of states and the adoption of similar derivation formula in favor of solid minerals and power generation.
I speak and say again that the intentment of the report is to allow the states of the country to control resources and devolve more powers to the states and consequently increase allocation to the states, of which Akwa Ibom is among.
State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports that Senator Enang, at a press briefing, allays the fears of agitators, emphasizing that the act of allocation of revenue abrogation of dichotomy in the application of the Principle of Derivation Act 2004 still stands, with no recommendation to abrogate it. Now, the best can only be achieved in the petroleum sector if there is transparency in the data generated by the various agencies in the sector. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Folashade Yemi Esson, made the observation at the OPEC Data Management Workshop holding in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Nigeria's crude oil production is unstable due to insecurity. But even in this situation, the country has never failed in the submission of its annual data to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC.
In the last 4 years, our record at data submission, timeliness, and correctness of the data that we submit to OPEC has been improving by the year.
This has placed Nigeria as a role model among OPEC member states. Delighted by this, the Data Management Unit of OPEC is in Nigeria to interface with the Petroleum Ministry for data transparency in the up, middle, and downstreams of the industry.
Member countries should submit data to OPEC because they need it to be able to advise the ministers. But without capacity building, we'll not be able to achieve the transparency and effectiveness that we want to achieve.
For the PTDF, this workshop offers an opportunity for the expression of our strategic objective of engaging more effectively with key players in the oil and gas industry by making valuable contributions that will further enhance capacity building of personnel and operators of the industry.
For the Petroleum Ministry, each drop of any resource generated must be accounted for not only to the international body, but also for locals.
It's a pity when students are looking everywhere for data and they have to go to OPEC to get data about Nigeria, and we don't have a repository here.
These participants will be engaged for 2 days on the best ways to manage data in their respective agencies. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
We'll take another short break now. Stay with us.
The fight against corruption in Nigeria and the success story so far is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities for maximum cavity protection. And now available in a fresh new Icy Mint gel.
Wow!
Don't you? 3 Crowns Milk is low in cholesterol and endorsed by the Nigerian Heart Foundation.
3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. 4 packs, please.
Yo.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, it's not Indomie. Don't call it Indomie.
Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy our delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
Uncle, now sick people boss be this, so.
Everybody, take comics for an call. Yes, now, just here, drink.
Comics, now easy to use solution for itchy cough. Comics, easy to use. Carry one.
The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo! The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go. Milo! The winning energy and great Milo taste, now ready to go.
Milo! Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because the tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities for maximum cavity protection. And now available in a fresh new Icy Mint Gel.
Wow.
Dettol team is visiting schools to teach children how to protect themselves from diseases. Do you know how we get illnesses like diarrhea, cough, and cold?
No.
They are spread through germs which are everywhere. You collect germs that cause diseases. You pick up germs from any surface, like when you don't wash your hands after going to the toilet, while playing. And then you can get sick because of germs. That's why you need to fight germs to stay healthy by washing your hands and taking your bath with Dettol soap to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Wash, wash, wash your hands. What you have to do is bath yourself. Dettol soap every day. Wash, wash, wash your hands.
In sports, Nigeria's D Tigers inch closer towards 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualification as Chess in Schools tournament ends in Kaduna. Ayodeji Makinde is our guide.
Nigeria's national basketball team, D Tigers, on Sunday reached the final round of the qualification for the 2019